So where does energy come from and how did it get so expensive? Hi, I'm Tom, and in this video I'll be explaining where your electricity comes from so you understand why it's so pricey.
As temperatures rise in summer, electricity prices follow the same upward trend, but this year's rates are expected to be especially high. There's higher air conditioning use during the summer, which means people are using more electricity. Higher demand results in higher rates. On top of that, the power companies dictate the rates since they are monopolies.
I saw increases last year of about 25 to 30% from the beginning of the year to the end of summer.
When usage decreases in winter, it looks like the bill came back down, but the rate is always higher than the previous years. This is one of the ways they make price gouging less noticeable. Monopolies are the main factor. Plus, there is geopolitics, severe weather events, inflation, and at the center, natural gas. Natural gas is the largest source of generation at this time. Renewables, which include wind, solar, and hydropower combined, are a faraway second place. Natural gas is used to produce electricity using a three-step process. First, it's extracted from beneath the Earth's surface and delivered to power plants via pipelines. Those power plants use natural gas to power turbines that allow for the generation of electricity. That electricity is then sent through power lines for use at your home. In 2011, the US surpassed Russia to become the world's largest producer of the commodity, but extreme weather events like the freeze in Texas, heat waves in the West, and hurricanes in the Gulf created higher demand than normal and have challenged domestic supply. During the Texas freeze, a big part of the problem was a lot of wellheads were frozen off and therefore production dropped off at a time when demand was very high. Hurricanes dropped production as well, as oil and gas producers paused production in the Gulf. Producers in the US have benefited from strong global demand as they increased exports abroad. Russia is also one of Europe's top suppliers. The war in Ukraine has made it so that European countries are trying to quickly reduce their reliance on Russian gas, which creates the need for greater supplies coming from elsewhere, and we're helping to fill the gap by exporting more abroad. None of it is reserved domestically, which drives up prices here by reducing supplies.
So weather events, depleting inventories, higher demand all push prices up, leading to increased residential power rates on a year-over-year basis. In general, when a company incurs higher costs, they recoup some of that through customers in the form of higher prices. There is some level of regulatory approval, but by and large, they just go through as is.
15 states have seen their electricity rates increase by at least 10% from last January.
Some utilities offer plans that allow you to pay lower prices for electricity on off-peak hours or outside of peak hours. But the reality is that most people need to use the most amount of electricity during the peak hours, so it's kind of a sneaky way for them to charge you more.
Take this example electric bill from SoCal Edison. If this homeowner opted for time of use, they would see separate charges for on-peak versus off-peak usage. As you can see, Edison's peak rate is a whopping 48 cents per kilowatt hour, which is around double the standard rate in California. During off-peak, the same person would only pay about 21 cents per kilowatt hour, not much lower than the normal rate.
California's Public Utility Commission, or CPUC, can regulate some costs. They don't regulate gas prices, but they can determine the extent to which the power companies pass the costs on to the consumers. Since they are monopolies, there's no competition to push prices down. Many people believe that these higher prices are here to stay since the infrastructure is aging and needs to be replaced. Now that we know the main causes for higher power prices, what can households do to manage the never-ending price hikes? The good news is, there are a few things homeowners can do to reduce this dependence on monopolies. In this next video, I'll show you what you can do to combat this ever-increasing cost of energy.